This is a clip of Greenlanders flooding the street outside of the US consulate in Greenland to protest Trump trying to annex the sovereign territory that is their country. The backlash flies in the face of what Trump's been claiming in suggesting that the people of Greenland actually want to join the United States.
I think Greenland will be worked out with us. I think we're going to have it. And I think the people want to be with us. As you know, there's 55,000 people there that want to be with us. I don't know really what claim Denmark has to it, but it would be a very unfriendly act if they didn't allow that to happen, because that's for protection of the free world. Right now you have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have ships from various countries. It's not a good situation. It has nothing to do with the United States other than we're the one that can provide the freedom. They can't. They can't. I mean, they put 2 dog sleds there 2 weeks ago. They thought that was protection. But people don't like the way they've been treated by Denmark. They don't like the way they've been treated by Denmark. And they do like us.
And of course, that turned out to be a lie so egregious that even Fox News aired interviews with random Greenlanders debunking the claim.
And the hot topic here has been President-elect Trump's comments about buying this Danish territory. Take a listen.
A lot about Trump and also their opinion about Trump.
I hate it. And basically, I don't know what he's aiming at.
Me personally, I want to stick with Danish government.
And it's not just Greenland that's pouring cold water on Trump's imperialist plans. Here's the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, a member of one of the country's conservative parties, declaring that in no uncertain terms, Canada will never be America's 51st state.
What it's done, it's united the whole country, and the patriotism is running wild across the country. The likes I've never seen before in my entire life. We'll never become the 51st state. Canada is not for sale, and we want a great trading partner. We had the greatest neighbors in the world, the U.S., and it's not the American people. They didn't vote President Trump in on this type of mandate. He had a mandate to lower inflation, lower cost of living, create more jobs, and it's backfired on him. Inflation's going up, jobs will be lost. He's taking more money out of Americans' pockets. For what reason? We're still trying to figure this out. Let's sit down at the table and negotiate this deal. If there's things he doesn't like, then we sit down and we have a conversation. But just going tit for tat back and forth, all it does is hurt Americans.
Between both Canada and Greenland, I'm not sure how delusional Trump has to be to think that countries that have universal health care, abortion rights, and strict gun laws would want to join a country that is actively cutting health care in order to give tax breaks to billionaires, forcing women to bleed out in parking lots, and experiencing daily occurrences of gun violence. The reality here on Earth 1 is that they don't want to. And frankly, given the state of our country right now, I don't really blame them. And look, I know there's been a lot of speculation about Trump's actual intentions with regard to his bluster over annexing these countries. But even if you bend over backwards to give Trump the benefit of the doubt by assuming he isn't simply an unstable megalomaniac who genuinely wants to bring back the days of brutal imperialism, even if we assume that he is simply using this as a negotiating tactic in some sort of trade negotiation, the simple fact is that it has not worked. And not only has it not worked, it has utterly backfired. Instead of folding, countries like Canada have stood their ground, bogging the US down in such a costly trade war that it's causing a collapse of the stock market and rapidly accelerating fears of a full-blown economic recession. But hey, something, art of the deal. Here's Justin Trudeau calling Trump's bluff out for the entire world to see.
I think in terms of what he wants, I heard he talked about banking again this morning in a tweet, which doesn't make any sense because American banks, there's about 16 American banks currently active in Canada holding about $113 billion worth of assets in this country. So the American banks are alive and well and prospering in Canada. It's an example of not really being able to see what it is that he wants, because even the excuse that he's giving for these Paris tariffs today of fentanyl is completely bogus, completely unjustified, completely false. So we actually have to fold back on the one thing he has said repeatedly, that what he wants is to see a total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us, is the second half of his thought. Now, first of all, that's never going to happen. We will never be the 51st state.
And honestly, even Americans in red districts are starting to see this sham for exactly what it is. This was from a recent town hall in the District of North Carolina Republican Chuck Edwards.
Do you support the annexation of Canada and/or Greenland? And this is a yes or no question. I don't want you to wander off into the woods. I don't want to hear about your latest week in your office. Okay, so I'm trying to get your opinion on this. As a yes or no, do you support Trump on annexing Canada or Greenland? And do you like the way he treats the premier or the president of Canada, calling him governor? Is that the way you do as a diplomat? Is that the way the United States should act to our closest neighbors? You know, is this? And I've still got a little more time. Do you enjoy the way he's tried to extort minerals from the Ukraine? Do you like bullying people that need your help? Do you go for kicking the guy when he's down? Do you support Trump in these things? And this is a yes or no.
It is becoming obvious for everyone to see that Trump's policy agenda is a complete disaster for this country. We were promised to be made great again. Instead, we're heading for economic collapse. Our national security is being damaged. Our trade relationships are being hurt, while countries like Russia and China sit back and laugh as we do to ourselves what they've wanted to do to us for decades. Jamie Raskin put this perfectly.
He has turned our closest allies in the world into enemies. He's turned our worst enemies in the world into his personal friends and bosom buddies. He's crashed the stock market. He has fired tens of thousands of people from essential jobs like air traffic controller and food and drug and safety inspectors, forest service firefighters. He's undermining the government that we need to keep it all together. So all I can say is if Vladimir Putin himself had invaded America and come up with a plan to try to destroy our economy and wreck the cohesion of our society, he could not have done better than Donald Trump has done on his own with the help of Elon Musk.
Quote, if Vladimir Putin himself had invaded America to come up with a plan to try and destroy our economy and wreck the cohesion of our society, he could not have done a better job than Donald Trump has done on his own with the help of Elon Musk. Absolutely spot on. And look, it would be one thing if Trump realized that he made a bad gamble on the economy and altered his strategy accordingly, but he's not. Instead, he has opted for a wholesale denial of reality because he's too afraid to admit fault. His ego can't handle it. And so here's Trump's Commerce Secretary, for example, saying that all of the destruction to Americans' 401ks is, quote, not that bad, and people just need to get over it.
We get a little bit of benefit from us, but it is the mess that we were left with. But it's not that bad. Remember, overstating ridiculous things. I mean, you feel it, Maria. Did you feel deep pain in the first quarter? I've watched your show all along. I don't remember you saying, oh, my God. No, come on.
That's why I was surprised.
America is awesome.
Surprised. That's why I agree with you, but that's why I was surprised about the Atlanta Federal Reserve expecting contraction.
Now look, we've had a lot of recessions in the past, but I can genuinely say this is the first one that is completely unforced and entirely, unequivocally owed to just one person. What part of Trump promising to lower prices on day one meant a market crash, an economic recession, and surging prices? So look, my message to the rest of the world, including our friends in Greenland, is the same message I have to Trump supporters right here in the US. Regardless of your partisan affiliation, it is incumbent on all of us to stand up for ourselves, our economic freedom, and the very ideals of democracy that we all rely on. Remember, just because you have voted for a political party in the past does not mean that they are entitled to your vote moving forward. You owe nothing to a political party that is making you less financially secure, less safe, and less free. So now is the time, whether you live in Greenville or Greenland, to join protests, go to town halls, call your elected officials, speak out, and make sure that your dissatisfaction is heard. Trump and Elon have shown no signs of slowing down as they continue to wage this assault on our economic and national and international security. And I can promise you, it is going to be a lot easier to speak out now than it will be years from now. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.